Hello, everyone. Can anyone hear me perfectly? Thank you to the three people who are watching right now. My name is Zark, better known as Master Hecate Ceremonials. I am joined by Ada of the Science of Assassin's Creed and Arsh of AC Landmarks. And today we are going to take you on a tour. We're going to take you on a tour of Paris.
Amazing.
I
Probably
The
getting
thing I can't wait to cover everything about Paris.
it's gonna be interesting, yes. So, where would you like to begin?
Where would I like to begin? So, in order to make this live stream very chronological for you, we're gonna start the stream with according to the story of AC Unity. So at first, we're going to start when Arno is very young and loses his father at Versailles, and we're going to talk about the Versailles palace, Palace of Versailles, and then um, from then on, we're going to go to La Bastille when he breaks out of prison. I'm just giving an overview over here of what you can expect. Then the Notre Dame Cathedral, uh, where Arno does one of his first assassinations. Then we'll talk about Napoleon Bonaparte, where uh, Arno first meets him in sequence 8, memory 1, as they are in the king's estate. Uh, from then on, literally, the next memory of sequence 8 is the September massacres that that we are going to cover, and then the hot air balloon ride. Who doesn't remember that
That's
sequence?
iconic. Absolutely iconic. I loved it.
Yeah, I got a lot of interesting information about it, and you're gonna be surprised about who was in the air the first time a hot air balloon got flown. Uh, and then we'll go a bit dark with the guillotine as we see the beheading of King Louis XVI. And then, of course, we have to cover Robespierre. Now, just to let you know, I will be butchering some French names, and I'm sorry for that. But if you guys know how to pronounce it, leave it in the chat. We'll try our best to stick to what how their names were pronounced, just as specifically as possible. And then we're gonna do some bridge missions, which are the Statue of Liberty, the fin de
Fan de Sec, I
thing.
think.
Zark. How do you say it? Yeah,
I think
fin de Sel.
Fan de Sec. Fan de Sec, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You told me about this yesterday, and yeah, I didn't know the term, but it's when I think it's when two eras meet, right?
The sir. Oh yeah. Well, that's the
And the
that
cycle just means end of century.
yeah the
And
oh yeah
Cycle is a century in French.
yes
Cycle. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it either, but definitely means a century.
yes
Yeah.
because this was 1898. It was the end of the 19th going into the 20th, and it was the time of the Belle Epoque, or like the beautiful epoch or beautiful era.
Yeah, when I googled it, it was saying that it's like end of a century, well, end of an era, beginning of another kind of thing too.
It's the same thing, really, because you count centuries also at their own eras. So I mean,
Yeah, of course.
but yeah,
Last but not least, we'll end with a very, very modern landmark that is still visited, I think, very much so, the Eiffel Tower. But this time around, we'll cover it in the Server Bridge, where it was occupied by the Nazis. It's a Nazi-occupied France. So yeah, should we start with the Palace of Versailles? Let's go back to Little Arno.
yeah, let's do it. While Zar boots it, if you want, I can ask already one question.
Oh yes, we are gonna be also asking trivia questions in between the stuff that we cover.
Yeah, mostly. So it's going to be the same layout as the previous stream. What we're going to do is ask a question. I'm going to put it as well in the chat in case there's a bit of delay. And the person that guesses it, be it in the chat or one of the co-hosts I'm talking to right now, they get to choose the next question. Well, the next game for the next question. So this first one is going to be about unity. And the question is, who is the person exploring the memories of Arno Dorian in Assassin's Creed Unity, of course?
And I think Ada will also type in that question in the chat as well in case you wouldn't hear it. And but as I'm booting it up, because I noticed that we didn't note which mission that we're gonna go in. Arsh, it's I know it's in sequence one, but which one? Memory one, memory two, or memory three?
Arno.
If it's the one with the ball, it's probably gonna be memory three.
The ball?
Yeah, the dance ball.
No, it's the one with young Arno. So
Oh,
yeah, it's when he first meets Elise. Elise leaves prepares in the morning, sneak to the ball. Yeah, it's definitely not memory 3. It's memory 1.
I just want to know that there's going to be a little bit of a delay on this one. So I'm putting it now, but it looks like YouTube is it showing where I.
Yeah, I'll start after like Arna becomes controllable.
Arno.
By the way, the overlay is nice. So welcome to Palace of Versailles.
Before you start, is anyone going to answer the question, or?
Oh yeah.
Are you going to try?
I'm going to try.
We'll see the fireworks.
I think. Who is the person exploring the memories of Arno Dorian? An initiate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So Arsh gets to choose the next one.
Yeah. But we always see Bishop. Oh, Bishop.
Oh yeah, but the one that is actually playing these memories is an initiate. It's not the same thing.
That initiate program was cancelled. So no.
Well, it was cancelled because of what happens at the end of Assassin's Creed Rogue. With the rooftop garden protocol and all that.
And I love Assassin's Creed Rogue.
It's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Shay is in the palace. somewhere while young Arno is chasing Elise.
Oh yeah, true.
Okay. All right. So I'm seeing Arno chasing Elise right now. It says follow. So I think it's a good time to start on the Palace of Versailles.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the Palace of Versailles, it it's the gem of France. And its downfall in many ways. I think today I will focus on the palace's start and its kings. Uh, then I will go about its symbolic architecture and list um, affairs in it that changed the world, basically, because uh, this palace was used to significant uh, extravagance. It's the it's the symbolism of how absurd the French got in spending on lavish materials. But hey, let's start with the palace's history first. So the Palace of Versailles was not a palace from its start. It was a hunting lodge built for the leisure of Louis the XIII. But it wasn't until Louis the XIV that it would change into a palace, and the main residence uh, of a king, because living in Paris was not safe. Uh, the city was like it's a big city out there. Versailles is more chill. It's more outside. Um, where are we now on the thing?
One
all right.
question, Louis the 14th, is that the one? Well, it's fiction, I know, but it's the one from the how do you say it? The Musketeers.
The Three Musketeers?
Yeah, is it the same one?
No idea. I haven't watched the Three Musketeers to be honest. Or read any of their books. If anyone knows in the chat, feel free to say so. I think your input is greatly appreciated. Zark, do you know?
Is a bit yeah. Sark says that he thinks it is. Yes.
Oh, okay. Let me. Well, yeah.
No, it
Like,
wasn't. It's Louis the 13th, I think. So the previous
French,
one.
the
Yeah,
French
it's
and their Louis.
yeah.
Yeah, Louis and Louis.
Yeah, they had a
Anyway,
lot of Louis. But yeah, go on and continue with Versailles.
anyway, so as you can see, thing Palace of Versailles had very very big symbolic architecture, uh, lavishly spent. So Louis the 14th believed himself as the center of the French government, a concept called absolutism. He built Palace of Versailles to emphasize his French power, and everything in it is linked to him specifically. This guy had 350 rooms in Palace of Versailles. The closer you are to Louis, the bigger your room would be. Yeah. Oh, we're seeing Arno, I think, and his dad is dying over there. The scene always gets me.
Well, if Shay is any good, I think the dad was dead probably before he hit the floor. So
yeah, Shay is really good. Anyway, let's let's go on about so Louis the 14th, his throne room was in the Apollo Salon because he linked himself to the sun god Apollo. Uh, one source uh, tells that the ceilings of the Palace of Versailles are adorned with illustrations of Roman gods, with Louis the 14th himself painted as Apollo uh, in there. I can I can share a link with you guys on chat, and you guys can go see the picture I have on that. Uh, like the Apollo uh illustration that I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, if you have a link, you can share it.
Yeah, already shared it over there. Anyway, so let me see here. Zark, if you can go and think, if you can play the memory 3 of Palace of Versailles when Arno goes to meet Elise, that will be wonderful because I have a little bit more to talk about the Palace of Versailles. Let's see it at nighttime too. It's Zark. Okay.
Yeah, you have to talk about the hallway of mirrors, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
I have to talk about in the hall of mirrors. Let's see in the hall of mirrors.
Okay, he wants to finish this memory first, so I'm just gonna go in with a question while we wait, unless you have something else to say.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Go
So,
with the
which
question. Part
which
2
game
is
would you like?
which game would I like?
Mhm.
You know what? Let's keep it with Unity.
Okay. So the next question is about a side mission, actually, or at least I think it's a side mission. It's one of Arno's earliest missions with the Brotherhood was to protect Therouan Méricourt during what event?
The question?
The question is that one of Arno's earliest missions with the Brotherhood was to protect Therouan de Méricourt. Oh, seriously, Therouan de Méricourt during what event?
The Women's March.
Yeah, the Women's March on Versailles. Yeah.
Yeah, the Women's March on Versailles. Which by the way, I think I did cover. Well, I'd say but it was a collaboration with AC Wiki where we covered the women of Assassin's Creed, and one of the women that we did cover was Theron de Mericourt. I hope I said that right.
Close enough. Don't worry. That's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I can post. I can post the thread about her. I think over over here too, if you guys will like it.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, she was a remarkable woman. It was not only the Women's March she was involved in, she was also involved in the revolution itself.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
you know more about it because you have that you made that thread with the AC Wiki. So yeah, we can give this information to the people that are watching.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think her life is a very major life. And here here is the thread about Mary Core that that you would want to check out.
Don't give me that look.
But yeah,
Victor cheats when he plays Pharaoh. Everyone
let me
knows.
see where we are right now. Oh,
No one, monsieur.
we are with Victor and Hugo. Let me see.
Je vous remercie, monsieur.
All right, so let's cover the second part of the Palace of Versailles. Should we?
Yeah, you can begin already because I think after this, Zark said he would go to the palace, so we can start already. The sneaking in is not that long, so
Yes, definitely. So, let me see the mystic and foreign affairs. A lot have.
Give my regards to Elise.
So, let me start with. Let me get back to the Hall of Mirrors. Once we're there, it's much more better to like cover it when we're there. And let me talk about the domestic and foreign affairs that were covered at the Palace of Versailles, because boy, were there a lot of stuff covered in here. I think, eh, for example, in September on September 3rd, 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed at Palace of Versailles, which ended the American Revolutionary War. Over here, and in 1789 also, to 1799, the French Revolution, the poor people hated monarchy for spending so much on Palace of Versailles. So, so of course they guillotined them because there was a lot spent on the Palace of Versailles. Also, on January 18th, 1871, Kaiser Wilhelm I shamed France by proclaiming himself Emperor of Germany in the Hall of Mirrors that we are about to talk about. And let's not forget, in 1919, a very modern turn of events, and if this event didn't happen, World War II would have not happened as drastically as it did. But in June 28, 1919, France's revenge on Germany for the Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles was signed over here, which shamed Germany and would doom France when Hitler's Nazis occupied Paris in 1940. So yeah, a lot happened in this palace, and hopefully, right now, is the Palace of Versailles just visitable right now?
it is. Yeah, I've been there actually.
Yeah, hopefully I'll go there too. But thank God nothing else is happening over there. That place
No.
is cursed.
Yeah, just a lot of crowds and everything, but in general, yeah, everything is just very quiet, so to speak. You just have a lot of people there taking pictures and so on, but nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't think everything is open to the public, though. If I remember correctly, because you do see the rooms of the queen and the room of the queen, the room of the king, and a bunch of other rooms, drawing room, drinking room, dining room, blah, 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 a lot of stuff. Obviously, the Hall of Mirrors,
Yeah.
which is amazing, actually. Although
Oh.
you can see that it's not as nice as it's shown in the game. Obviously, because after the French Revolution or during the French Revolution, it was looted as well. So
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it was the most extravagant place in the palace, and when you have the king's head, why not go and and screw the palace up? And it seems that we have arrived at the palace at night.
yeah,
That's
those are the
amazing.
gates. Yeah.
Yeah. Sever is behind us. I see over here. So 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 let's see over here. Should I go over the Hall of Mirrors right now?
Wait until we get there. What I want to mention, because it's not really shown here right now, and I don't know if we actually get to see it in this memory. I don't think so. But behind this whole structure is a gigantic garden. It's seriously, it's huge.
Oh yeah,
And
the garden.
it's beautiful. I mean, when I went, I think there had been a heat wave or something, so it was maybe a little bit dry, but it's huge, and it's a very nice place to go on walks and court people and talk about politics and or I don't know, as a retreat as well, really, which is basically what it was built for. So
Yeah, and I think it was also built for, again, like Louis XIV liked to show his absolute power, and this garden symbolized his absolute power.
oh, yeah.
I think a source, I think, tells that like the formality and grandeur of the garden symbolized Louis XIV's absolute power even over nature. So so yeah, he's like, yeah, even nature is like in my power. And then you see the gardens over there.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it is time to go over the Hall of
Continue.
Yeah, the Hall of Mirrors. I mean, I don't have much to say. Just like the Hall of Mirrors. Just to cut it short and to be very respectful of time, I think Louis did not want just any mirror. He wanted mirrors that were made in France. So he bought those mirrors, and then he showed that the French financial wealth and power, when really it was deteriorating the hell out of his finances. So talk about lavish spending. This guy was like crazy amount of spending. AC Unity, I think, like, this is a fact about AC Unity. I know the Hall of Mirrors is in game, and it is beautiful. Hopefully we get to see it very soon. And so are the gardens, but I don't know about Apollo's Salon, because Apollo's Salon should have Louis' illustration in there that I shared. But all in all, understand that the Palace of Versailles had like hella history in its walls when you go to visit it, and appreciate every moment there, because people have had a lot of history in there, and I hope that shows in AC Unity.
There we go. That's the Hall of Mirrors.
Yeah, man, it is beautiful.
Yeah, the chandeliers. Oh my god, so excessive.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. So like, it's so excessive, and wow, like what a what a place to show the next gen graphics that were back
Oh, yeah,
then. You
that's
know,
true. Yeah.
yeah, like the PS4 and the Xbox One were just a thing back then.
She
So
always did love
showing
movies.
this is like a major feat because, like, oh my god, you know, such beauty and extravagance. And of course,
Mhm.
after this, people die. Um, yeah, they
You seem to have
think
passed quite
they're
a course.
What can I
while the rich are having their fun over
Oh,
here,
you
the
weren't
poor are
very
dying
smart.
outside. Um, because of financial instability.
Well, things
Uh,
have not really changed that much since then. Eh?
oh yeah. Well,
Not to get
thus
political,
is
but yeah.
history.
occasion to get you so
Thus
fancy?
is history.
Truth be
Hmm.
told, it's a lot of
We are
science.
leaping into history over here.
That's actually true. Absolutely true.
Invite me to your party?
Yeah.
That's the motto of Assassin's Creed, actually. Leap into
Yeah,
history.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why I said, oh, the iconic scene of them
Oh, I love it. I
making
really
out.
like this scene. These and the balloon one as well. So good with these two.
No, you're not turning
I
this
really
Yeah.
like the character of Elise, and I have the feeling that we should have been able to play her in this game, or at least get more background. Have you read the novel?
No, I haven't.
Well, it includes a lot of information about Elise. It's actually her diary and also Arno's diary, but mostly hers. And they tell the story of her traveling to the UK to meet Templars there, or to meet. Yeah, it's well, to meet. Actually, I don't want to. I don't know if you plan on reading it.
Uh,
I don't want to spoil it.
hopefully, hopefully in the future, but I don't mind if you spoil it. A thing like
Okay,
I wanna know more about Elise.
spoilers ahead for people who are listening to this. She goes to meet Jenny, the sister of Haytham, the daughter of Edward Kenway.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
and the
I
necklace of the Templar cross that she gets is from Haytham, and it's given to her by Jenny.
oh wow, what a
Mhm.
connection.
I know, it's wonderful. Yeah, I told you it's a really nice story, and it also shows how she learned to fight, how she was inducted into the Templar Order. Yeah, and also a little bit of information about her mom, which is not given at all in the game. So, or not that much.
Yeah, we didn't cover the moms of Elise or Arno. Like, how about Arno's mom? We know
I
stuff about her.
I think she probably died when he was young.
Young.
No, or she. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think I read something about Arno recently because, of course, I was making the questions and I had to look for information about Arno. So I'm not sure if she died or if she abandoned. Yeah, she abandoned them. I think because
Oh,
she found out about the Assassin Brotherhood. I think
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Got it. Got it. Oh, by the way, John Gray asks Louis XIV, the guy from the Versailles TV show, right? I don't know.
I
I've
don't know
not.
that TV show. I'm not familiar with it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the Versailles TV show, but I have been meaning to watch it because, like, just the title itself is kind of like, ooh, I want to watch it because thing. I'm pretty. I'm. I'm pretty sure it's like the foundation of like Versailles, right?
Well, either
Yeah.
that or the story that led to the revolution. I mean, if I had to make an uneducated guess, I would say it's Louis the 14th that is in that show. Yeah, most
Yeah.
likely.
Well, Arno's dad just died. I mean, not dad.
No, Elise is dead.
I think his like, what do you say to it? Symbolic father. Like
Adoptive father.
adoptive father. Yeah, yeah,
Stepfather.
yeah. And thing like and Elise's biological father, but yeah. Cool. So yeah. Right now we're gonna cover La Bastille because what do you get when you spend too much on a palace? And and your country is not doing good financially? Well, you get a revolution, and the revolution started at La Bastille prison when they broke in.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So yeah, Zark, if you can go over to La, the Bastille,
The escape of La Bastille.
yeah, gonna be a this is gonna be a great one.
Sequence 2, memory 2, I think.
Yeah. So I'll quickly go over about it as a fort during the 100 Years' War, which is also a bridge, server that you can play. It's like one of those glitches that happens, where you go to the 100 Years' War and you have to collect data
True.
from it.
Yeah, true.
I think, but
Mhm.
but during the 100 Years' War, uh, La Bastille started as a defense plan against the English in the 100 Years' War.
Wait a second, because I don't think it's sequence 2, memory 2. That's what I had in the document, but I think it's before then because sequence 2, memory 2, Arno was already outside of prison, so it has to be memory 1.
Oh, our memories. Let me see.
Sequence 2, memory 1, I think. Depends on the title of the.
Well, until we
memory.
get
But yeah,
until
go
we
ahead.
get there, do you want to answer? Do you want to question? A trivia question?
Yeah, well, if it gets loaded, yeah. I think you answered correctly again.
Yeah.
So, do you want to choose?
Yeah. Let's get the chat to
To choose.
answer this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Chat. Chat. What do you guys want to question about?
Which game would you like to choose for the next question? For the next quiz question. It's the first answer, first serve. Whoever says it first gets it.
I love the fact that Arno is in prison, but he has his like Eden sword that
And
he can just wreck hell in prison.
and
But
those are the master assassin robes, no?
yeah, exactly. I think and like he has that Eden sword. Like he can just technically get out no problem. But the story has to go on.
Well, John Gray says any apart from Black Flag, so I'll just do that. I'll choose any apart from Black Flag, and I'm going to choose. I'm gonna be naughty, and I'm going to say Assassin's Creed Liberation.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's gonna be. Well, actually, he chose Syndicate. Okay, so Syndicate it is.
Actually,
okay, how
last week?
How old were Evie and Jacob Fry when they met Henry Green? This one is easy.
I could kill you 7 ways.
Easy for you. The thing, Zark, do you want to join
They
in
want
on
multiple
this
choice, so I'm just gonna put the multiple choice.
Yeah, please.
Okay, there you go. It's A23, B25, C20, or D21. That's not correct. 27, that's way off base, actually.
I mean, I'd say they are a bit mature in their age, so I'm gonna say 25.
No, actually, all of you are, it's all incorrect. Meg is also not correct. And yeah, it's not 25. And since you all got it wrong,
Oh boy.
I'm going to give you the answer. It's 20 years old. When Henry Green meets the twins, he says they are twins, one boy, one girl, about 1 meter or something. He says the height, and then he says in 2 decades old.
About 2 decades old.
Yeah, he says 2 decades old. So they are 20. And I actually checked to see if when they met, it was before or after the birthday of Evie and Jacob. And it's before they turn 21. So they're 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if they were in the United States now, they can't even drink.
Nope. And they go around murdering people. Can you believe it?
They go around murdering people. Such physique.
Very impressive. And much smarter. At least Evie, much smarter than a lot of people of my own age. So.
Oh yeah. She's very wise for her age.
Yeah, she is.
But yeah. Oh, Bellic. He's training the boy. Well,
you want to get ahead already with
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, La Bastille. Okay. So, since Bellic and Arno are having their fight, let's talk about the defense plan against the English in the 100 Years' War. The Bastille was meant for that. Like, it was a defense plan against the English in the 100 Years' War, and the west of Paris was fortified by the Louvre, a defense center back then. It was not a museum. It was just a defense center, while the Bastille took care of the east of Paris. Etienne Marcel, who was the mayor of Paris back then, built its first 2 towers. The towers that you see are being demolished. Then came Charles V of France, who in April 22, 1370, a decade after the first 2 towers of the Bastille were built, added 6 additional towers. This was to turn the Bastille into an independent stronghold by walling up the openings, and to also fight the English. Like, it was a impenetrable like prison, very, very big in size, because the Bastille had like 8 towers. It was 100 feet, that's 30 meters high, and it was linked by walls of equal height and surrounded by a moat that was more than 80 feet. That's 24 meters wide. A moat is basically the surrounding of a structure. Just like, think of a ditch made around the castle, so like people cannot climb its walls. Like, cannot reach its walls very effectively. So the Bastille, its name is derived from the word Bastide, which is, or Bastide, which is fortification. It was corrupted to Bastille. That reasoning, I do not know why, but you can search it up. So by 17th century, Louis XIV changed its purpose um, a thing, because in in the 17th century, Bastille's symbol of m- uh, uh, of the French monarchy. Sorry, just a second. I like had a brain fart. In the 17th century, Bastille's symbol of French monarchy's tyranny begins. Because this guy, Louis XIV, had over 2,000 people jailed in his reign. That's 43 people yearly by a document named Lettre de Cachet. Basically, this document let Louis XIV have anyone go to jail without trial. Anyone who he pleased. Simply, if Louis didn't like you, you go to jail. That's unfair, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. But I mean, it wasn't all hell for the people that went to jail, because the letter was the start of the tension build to the French Revolution. What's worse is that prisoners in the Bastille weren't actually prisoners. They were just government officials or family members who were put away to not cause problem, while enjoying their lives lavishly inside the Bastille. Like, they had servants come and serve them and stuff like that. Like, it was like, hey, you're causing a problem, so I'm just gonna put you on a timeout. But hey, here's cake.
That's a bit strange. I don't think all of them were treated like that. No, I mean,
I mean, most of them were like treated like that because, like, you know, Louis, and this was back in Louis the 14th's time. When we get to the 15 and 16 Louis, stuff changes. Like, you know, it takes like a darker turn. But I mean, even the Marquis de Sade,
mhm.
he had like an eloquent wardrobe inside his prison, and he had like over 130 books that he can.
That's right. I read about that, but it's also because he was a marquis. Yeah, he was. He was nobility.
Yeah, exactly. So again, he was like imprisoned. Like, you guys should really go and search on Spotify or any streaming service that you have. The Echoes of History that Assassin's Creed made recently. It covers the Marquis de Sade's life. But anyway, he did something very atrocious that led him to be in the prison, just so he doesn't cause any problems. And they gave him, like, you know, 130 books to read. He wrote his book in the in prison. The document still survives, but he didn't know that it actually survives. Like, he died knowing that he lost it. The French kings, Louis XV and 16. Oh, an amazing start to La Bastille. Louis XV and 16 spent twice as much as the laborers' salary to care for the prisoners.
Welcome.
One can't be too careful.
Basically, like, you know, they went all out. Like, as pension after jail, they gave them
Haven't you done enough to repay
one
your father's
1,200 livres
You can't believe what
to
Monsieur de la Salle-
survive on, and that 1.2 livres was given to people like
I
the
know
French
exactly.
author Voltaire post getting out of the Bastille. He he later wrote badly about it,
Assassin.
because
Me a temple.
like
You?
the finance minister and friend to the commoners,
Father always wanted
Jacques
me to follow in his footsteps.
Necker,
Now all I
advised King Louis the 16th to close the Bastille, but was banished for it. Like, he's like, what are you talking about? I'm not gonna close it. Big mistake, Louis. Big mistake.
A letter intended for my father.
Anyway, Necker was dismissed, and the French military increased in Paris, and the Bastille started getting bad press. All this led to a massive protest in Paris. I think this is what led to the storming of the Bastille to fight tyranny. The main officer of the Bastille, Bernard
My father.
René de Launay,
Just go,
tried to fight, but he failed and was met with like a terrible fate. That terrible fate is actually shown kind of in AC Unity. Like, this guy is not shown, but like the process of like which they did him dirty was they dragged his body through Paris, stabbed it multiple times. They cut the head and they put it on a spike, along with like 3 other officers of the Bastille. When King Louis XVI heard of this news, he thought it was just a revolt that was happening at La Bastille. Someone told him, "No, sire, it's a revolution." So this is where the revolution begins.
Nice, very interesting. It's been almost 1 hour since we started the stream, and we have done 2 landmarks. So maybe we can pick up the pace a little bit for the next ones. We should
Yeah.
be doing next the Notre-Dame Cathedral.
Yeah.
Okay.
We finished this just about the right time of the mission, which is great. Now we're gonna go and assassinate Severe. I'll go shortly about the Notre Dame Cathedral. I did cover the Notre Dame Cathedral in a thread too. So yeah. By the way, if you need to reference back to the Bastille research I did, here is a thread that I worked on for it.
What's our plan?
Where are you posting the threads?
You're not an apprentice
On the chat.
to study your surroundings.
On the
Your own plan.
on the chat of
Put your hand
of YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, because
people
you've been posting other stuff, but I didn't see it.
no targets unreachable.
Yeah, people can just
Where the hell was Duchesneau?
people can just copy paste the URL and
If you can't find a
thing
weakness to exploit,
go
make one.
to the actual site
You've secured the cathedral?
that it's on.
Good.
Like, like the Twitter thing.
Opportunities everywhere.
You can
I-
do that, right?
Take it.
I don't see the link. That's the thing. I think the links maybe are blocked by the chat to avoid spam.
Okay, well, I'm gonna retweet them on AC Landmarks Twitter.
You mean a dagger in broad daylight?
So
Cut down where I stand?
it will be easier to access.
I'll do it.
Whatever you think best.
Second,
Assassin.
let me know when we get to the Notre Dame Cathedral. But
Oh, we're there already, yeah? He's already stalking it.
oh, okay. Let's wait for Belek and Arno's talk to finish. I'm just posting the threads. We just covered the Palace of Versailles. Um, all right. So, cool. All right. So let's get to the Notre Dame cathedral's information that I have on it. I'm gonna open it up. So, I'm reading from it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over the Notre Dame Cathedral pretty quickly. I think I'm gonna explore. I'm gonna discuss Notre Dame's architecture, its beginnings, its time during the French Revolution, and its push to restoration under the Romantic movement, which includes Napoleon in there. So the massive structure of Notre Dame. I think the interior has a size of 427 by 157 feet, which is roughly 130 by 48 meters in plan. And the roof of it is 115 feet high. It's like 35 meters in the metric system. The two towers, if you can see the two towers, Zark, they are 233 feet high, and for a building that was made in AC Unity to be of scale, a 1-to-1 scale, that is a very big, that is a very tall building to climb. Like, wow, that's like 233 feet over there. Anyway, fun fact about the towers, actually, they were supposed to have spires on them, just like the spire that recently in 2019 got destroyed by fire, but they still don't. Maybe it's for the better. Okay, so the Notre Dame Cathedral, its beginning was built on the ruins of two churches that previously was the ownership of a Gallo-Roman temple that was dedicated to Jupiter. The Bishop of Paris in 1160, his name was Maurice de Sully, initiated the idea of a cathedral to the Virgin Mary. The foundation stone for it was laid by Pope Alexander III in 1163, and the high altar was consecrated in 1189. It took them from 1163 to 1345 to finish the Notre Dame completely, and it went for the building itself went for the Gothic style, but in the 13th century they also adapted the Rayonnant style, the rose decoration that you see, like what Zark is just climbed, like these rose decoration outside. That's called Rayonnant style. Basically, they were like, rose decorations are more important than size. But yeah, during the French Revolution, the cathedral was used for many things. God, it was used for many things. But this is when the cathedral went downhill. a main door pillar destroyed. So a main door pillar was destroyed. So a carriage comes in during the French Revolution. 28 king statues that were housed in the Notre-Dame Cathedral were demolished. They destroyed the central spire of the cathedral too. So actually, like that central spire that just got burned is not the original spire. Like the original spire was like burned, not burned, destroyed since the French Revolution. But a second spire was put there after the restoration movement that the cathedral had. But talking about restoration, by 1801, the French Revolution ended. Napoleon signed the Concordat and returned Notre Dame Catholic again, because the French Revolution named it the Temple of Goddess of Reason before. It wasn't that anymore. Time to get back to reality, in a sort. But yeah, Napoleon crowned himself emperor because he was Napoleon, and he actually did it over here, like in the Notre Dame Cathedral. He made the whole style of the place like Roman, and but going back into literature, the romantic movement of the Notre Dame is what made Notre Dame what it is today. Basically, Victor Hugo's book. You might have heard of it.
Les Misérables. Les Misérables. No?
No. No, it's a Disney adaptation.
A Disney adaptation for the... Oh, all right. Yeah, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. No?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Hunchback of Notre Dame inspired the French people to restore the Notre Dame to its past grandeur. Hugo wished to highlight the importance of, he hated the fact that the Gothic architecture of Paris was neglected. So in his book, he sought to bring it alive again, and so he did in the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Yeah. Might I explain a bit what happened in 2019? Or you want to do it?
Let me see. Yes. Do you want...
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So, we probably, everyone that is here watching this video, well, either as a video or watching the stream, knows what happened in the Notre-Dame Cathedral. So this happened in 2019, and the 15th of April, actually. So in the afternoon before dinner time, around 6:20 local time, a structure fire broke out beneath the roof of the Notre-Dame Cathedral. And by the time it was extinguished, the building spire had collapsed, so the one that Arch mentioned before. The spire collapsed, most of the roof had been destroyed, and the upper walls were severely damaged. There was extensive damage to the interior that was prevented, partly by the stone vaulted ceiling, but there was still a lot of stuff that was burned. And many works of art, of course, and religious relics had to be moved to safety early in the emergency, but others suffered some smoke damage. And I don't know if it's possible to recover those with the help of some art restorers. Otherwise, yeah, there's not much that they can do about it. The cathedral's altar, the two pipe organs, and its three 13th century rose windows suffered little to no damage, so that's actually good news. Because the rose is probably the most important, well, not important, but at least it's a very iconic part of the cathedral, so that's nice. And unfortunately, 3 emergency workers were injured. Then the French president, Emmanuel Macron, said that the cathedral would be restored by 2024. And if you remember, he launched a fundraising campaign which brought pledges of over 1 billion as of 22nd of April 2019. So it took them less than 10 days for that. A complete restoration could require 20 years or more. And if you remember, this, well, a lot of rich people we're offering a lot of money. This is not I don't know what happened with that in the end, if they did it or not. I don't know actually if the works are ongoing at the cathedral or not, because
I mean, imagine like we are covering our history now, which is great. This happened like 5 years ago now. Wow.
Yeah, it feels like yesterday, right?
Yeah, it does feel like yesterday. And if you guys didn't know, Ubisoft actually reached out to like the French government and like because they had so much extensive research done on the Notre-Dame about like every single aspect of its architecture, because again it was a 1-to-1 scale of Notre-Dame. They had like sketches of like the spire and like how to rebuild it again. So yeah, they offered their assistance to restore it. Plus, on the week that the Notre Dame got under fire, AC Unity was put for free, I think for like a week or a month.
Yeah, that's right. It was given for free to anyone that had Ubisoft Connect, I think.
Yeah, and
you play at the time.
Yeah, and they are recently working on a virtual reality of experience of what happened during the fire. The fire that the Spire suffered. Like there's an actual virtual reality experience that's being made by Ubisoft of that whole experience, which is great. It like adds to the history. Like think 20 years from now, people can go to that virtual reality and just like experience what happened back 30 years ago. Yeah,
that's interesting. But if you're going to do that, to be honest, I find it kind of a crime having all the information they have about so many buildings and structures in Paris that there's no discovery tour of Assassin's Creed Unity. Come on.
So... Well, we are trying our best to do the discovery.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Over here. Think Ubisoft, if you want me as a researcher of like your past AC games and you want to come up with a discovery tour for them, you got the right gang over here. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so next we are going to cover a bit about Napoleon.
Yes. So Napoleon is a larger-than-life figure. The guy did a lot of things. I'm gonna go over them. Hopefully I finish in like less than 10 minutes. About him because like he did a lot of things, and AC really portrayed him really well in AC Unity. So yeah. Zark, I think the sequence you're looking for is sequence 8. Memory
Memory
one.
one. Yeah. While he does that, I'm going to
More fetch and carry.
choose a question I was going to do before liberation. I'm choosing it because no one guessed before, eh? So, and it was about liberation. It's a very easy one.
Germain?
So, during the events in Assassin's Creed Liberation, New Orleans was under the rule of which country?
The National Guard are on the brink. Some of them have thrown in with the Francis speaks
During
with
the events
This
of
doesn't please us.
of
The people
which
are fighting for
of
Assassin's
which
Creed Liberation,
liberté, égalité.
New Orleans was under the rule of which country?
France.
No, that's incorrect.
Wait. Oh god. This is liberation.
Correspondences of a royal nature.
Mirabeau's in contact with the king.
What's incorrect?
And he was
Yeah, that's incorrect. It was France was about to gain the power in New Orleans, so that's yeah,
Oh.
almost true. But at the time of the beginning, when the game starts and everything, yeah. So Sark is right. It's Spain that is ruling
Spain.
New Orleans. Yeah, at the time. Mm-hmm.
Won't be the first palace
Good job, Zark.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets to choose the next one. But yeah, now we are almost beginning the mission that leads to us meeting
Napoleon.
Napoleon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me start about Napoleon's life. Maybe by the time that we get to Napoleon, you'll see him as like the post that he was as I'm talking about him, because like he has a lot to cover. Okay, so I'll cover his young life shortly, and then his revolution efforts drastically, and then go over his conquests and how he became French emperor. There are some AC facts in there. So Napoleon was born in Corsica in 1769, in the middle of the French taking control of Corsica. His dad, Carlo Bonaparte, a wealthy politician, he gave Corsica to France. Napoleon was forever shameful of his dad for this action, because like he was a very, very hardcore nationalist. He felt shame of his dad the more Carlo became friends with the French. But he did love his mom. His mom was Leticia, and he got his discipline from her. In 1778, Napoleon entered the French school. Napoleon went to France as a student, an experience he hated. He hated so much. Why? Because of three reasons. One, he went from hot, sunny Corsica to a cold France. Like he literally freezed over there. He was also a bullied child. I think like he didn't get well with his peers over there, and he also had bad grades. Where Napoleon really shined, though, was in the army when he was 16. He began a career as a second lieutenant, a title we first see him in Assassin's Creed Unity. Because at 20 years old, Napoleon was still stuck to his title of second lieutenant, largely due to the monarchy system that doesn't let him go up the rank. But a little revolution sparked that changed the world. You might have heard of it. It's the French Revolution. The French Revolution changed Napoleon's life. In 1792, during the French Revolution, Napoleon was in and out of Paris. He got back to Corsica to get into politics, but Corsica didn't want him there because they thought he was an quote unquote an unexperienced boy. Angry at this, he rallied people to oppose the Corsican governor, Pasquale Paoli, but it came at a cost because Pasquale Paoli, he was the big man in Corsica. He hated the French. He was exiled by the French, and he returned after the French Revolution to control Corsica too. Napoleon revolted, but he lost. The Bonaparte family name was forever shamed in Corsica, so they got exiled out of Corsica. No longer Corsican, Napoleon was now fully French. In heart also. Like, he loved being French. So, this is where we see Napoleon come to Paris, raid Louis XVI's estate. It's the first time we see Napoleon in AC Unity again. But in reality, though, he might have not been inside the palace. He was just outside looking at the events because of a classmate of his. I think. Well, I don't know if it is of his, but I got it from a source that said an odd classmate who was with him that day recounted that Bonaparte walked the streets, angry at the violence of the crowd. So yeah. Hopefully we are close to meeting Napoleon. How are we doing so far?
Well, I think Arno still has to infiltrate, and he meets Napoleon when he's stealing some documents. I think they were the letters of Mirabeau to the king. You know, the correspondence that they had to each other. They didn't want anyone really to know that Mirabeau had been sending. Well, is it Mirabeau? Yeah, Mirabeau. To know that Mirabeau had been sending letters to the king in the middle of the revolution, because, yeah, that's not very well seen by the revolutionists, to be honest. So yeah.
But yeah, during the French Revolution, Napoleon himself was in the Jacobins Club. The Jacobins Club, as you're gonna hear in this stream, were a club that took the French Revolution and made it as bloody as possible, as they can. It was headed by Robespierre. I think he was their leader. Robespierre put Napoleon in charge of artillery in France, and then charged him to defend Toulon against Britain. Napoleon there won a hard victory by his own merit, and again, Robespierre heard of this and promoted him to brigadier general. By this time, though, this was 1793, so Napoleon here was 24 years old, and he was already a brigadier general. Like, this guy is freaking amazing. Hello, Napoleon. We are here with Napoleon.
Yeah, there he is.
Is the voice? Is there dialogue interrupting my dialogue?
Yeah, there's voice right now. I don't know if the dialogue is on. I think it is.
Well, then perhaps we can help each other. I believe the king has built a hidden vault somewhere.
Okay, all right. The dialogue in game is like lowered.
There's a delay quite big actually, so I don't think right now we are interrupting the dialogue. I think I don't know.
Okay, all right, cool. So the thing I'm halfway there. In Napoleon's research. Anyway, so by the time Napoleon became a brigadier general, Robespierre was already a blood-crazed lunatic who murdered thousands of French out of fear that he was going to lose his seat, and was ultimately shot in the jaw and guillotined. Royalists wanted the monarchy back. Napoleon like after Robespierre was dead, the royalists wanted the monarchy back. So Napoleon was tasked to deal with this. The royalist protests that are put in the Assassin's Creed Unity co-op missions. They were here, and the protests ran high in Paris. The Directory, who maintained France, decided to end it. So they called in Napoleon to cannon royalists, like cannon at royalists, and like it said, with a whiff of a grape shot, Napoleon was promoted to a major general. So this guy got promoted like very fast. Anyhow, as Major General, Napoleon now was 26 years old and in charge of the army of the interior. With this charisma of his, he himself led armies to battle against Austria. He crossed the Alps and he conquered Egypt just for a little bit. By the way, side note, if Napoleon didn't invade Egypt and get excavations into it, we might have never known Egyptian hieroglyphs, because the Rosetta Stone was found, and the Rosetta Stone was written in Egyptian hieroglyphs, and on the other side it was written in Greek, so it was able to be deciphered. So thank you, Napoleon, for that. He put a lot of ancient Egyptian knowledge out there for AC Origins to be alive, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting. And he, well, because of that conquering of Egypt, well, there was also some involvement in the looting of tombs and pyramids and so on before, you know, archaeologists actually could take a look at it. I mean, I'm sure Amit would love to talk about this.
Yeah, I think if only Amit was here. Where is she? Not here.
I think she's busy today, but yeah. And Stark says also that there was Coptic as well in the Rosetta Stone.
Oh yeah, also Coptic. Sorry. I think. But yeah, there was Coptic. But yeah, I mean, anytime you want to talk about the Rosetta Stone, you're always welcome to talk about it. Anywho, back to Napoleon. So Napoleon returned to France after being defeated in Egypt. He returned to France and found it in absolute turmoil. The worldwide awareness of France's revolution had other countries in revolution, and France itself was in a panic of threats and invasion. They had no money. Royalists were planning a comeback. Napoleon had to fix a lot, and he did. He set up a triumvirate because, like, Napoleon's role model was Augustus, the first Roman emperor, who he himself set up the second triumvirate. to control Rome. Thing, and then he got it all for himself. So guess what? Napoleon did the same thing. He set up a triumvirate. He proved his skill in the military, and he gained the emperor's seat by having two things. One, he gained the military's trust, and two, he gained the people's love. And he gained the people's love by going to Austria, obliterating it for 6 days. Unfortunately, 14,000 Austrian people were dead by now, but he won and a treaty was signed. This made him a favorite among the French people. And on December 2nd, 1804, like I said, he was crowned in the Notre-Dame Cathedral, where he was made Emperor of France, and he made his wife Josephine an empress too. And his coronation was an homage to the grandeur of the Roman Empire. Like, it was dressed up to be like, he was dressed up to be a Roman and a French emperor.
Talk about eagle. Jesus.
Yeah, like the guy was really, really poetic in his symbolisms. But some Assassin's Creed facts for you, just for fun's sake. We first see Napoleon at the palace. Well, I already talked about that. The thing, Napoleon was for the French Revolution only because it advanced his career. He wasn't actually for it. He preferred monarchy, but he just got lucky being the one in charge. Like in Assassin's Creed Unity, there is a scene. It's actually in the next sequence in the September Massacres that you're gonna see when you see him saying "Long live the Republic," only to survive though. When somebody asks him, shout "Long live the Republic," he does because he wants to survive. But France went from a monarchy to a republic to monarchy because of Napoleon. And this is just a side thing too, a side fact. In the side missions, you see Napoleon talking to Desiree Clary, his one of his lovers, and then you see him with like Josephine. He left Desiree because Desiree was indecisive about his proposal of engagement, and he married Josephine. Josephine became the French empress for life. And just
untouchable. But
I have. Let me see.
Rumor about the barracks is that he and a unit of his cronies plan
Two more fun facts for you. Napoleon's trademark hand in coat that you see in his famous picture was inspired by a 1737 book called The Rudiments of Gentile Behavior. Box.com actually says that it was the key to posturing oneself. That book was the key to posturing oneself with manly boldness, tempered with becoming modesty. In Assassin's Creed, of course, it's where Napoleon hid the Apple of Eden.
Nobody try anything.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. So we have about 30 minutes left, I think, of stream.
I think
so. We are going to start with the Rui assassination. So you can.
The September Massacres.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we will. I think we will cover like three more. Three more. Uh. Three more topics. Just pretty quickly. We can go until like. I think 10:30. 10:30 a.m. That will make it like. I think like.
So 50 more minutes.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is like we can go for an extra 30 minutes. It's fine. If we don't think, but we're not gonna have time for the bridge servers. It's fine. At least we 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 will cover like the major themes that was shown in the actual game itself.
Okay. Well, while we start that memory, I'm going to ask another question of the quiz, and I think it was Zark that guessed the one about liberation. So,
Yeah.
Zark, which game would you like to choose for the next question?
But thank you. You can thank me.
Okay. So let's go with Valhalla. Actually, it's going to be the first one. Last time we didn't ask anything about Valhalla. Okay, let me see. I think most of the questions have been about, well, most, but we've done a lot about Unity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whew, this one is. I hope you're good with names. So, Eivor was the adopted sister of Sigurd. But what was the name of her adoptive father? I want a name and surname, please.
Oh, you're Bjorn? No.
What did you say?
You're Bjorn?
Can you write that down?
Here. Is it true?
Yeah. So that's his name and the surname. Can you give it to me? It's a bit complicated, but.
Bjorn. I don't know.
Well, the complete name is Styrbjorn Sigvaldisen. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but it's Styrbjorn Sigvaldisen.
Oh.
Or Sigvaldisen.
I didn't know that.
I'm not sure. Sigvaldisen. Yeah. A bit of learning here as well, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. Okay, so if Zark can begin the wait, I'm not entirely sure how this memory goes. Actually, he has to get in La Bastille and assassinate someone. Or...
Yeah. So the memory takes place in La Bastille. Thing. It's the September massacres are an event that happens in prisons of like for the most part. It was so the September massacres were a set of attacks on prisons in Paris between September 2 to 7 1792. They were justified as defense of Paris because during this time France was going through the revolution. Plus, the attackers thought that the prisoners were anti-revolutionaries, so they wanted to oppose them. Because around this time, there was news that the Prussian army was advancing on Paris, and that counter-revolutionaries, mainly the clergy, wanted to help them. So, what do? Get rid of them. The clergy were suspected of being close connections with the royals. So thing like so that they wouldn't support the revolution. This along with famine happening and just a lot of social factors made the people crazy and desperate. So just so things don't get a little bit more complicated, they actually killed the priests as they were being transported to the prison, but not the Bastille prison. It was the Liabi. Oh God, I hope I pronounced that right. Labaya. Yeah,
I think Labaya. Yeah.
Yeah, to the prison Labaya. I think like it was a massacre, of course. And this was only the first day. The horrible acts followed the following days with no law stopping their atrocities. I mean, it gets pretty graphic. But I'm gonna try to make this as family friendly as possible. A writer during this time says that the dead bodies are piled high in front of the Châtelet. In his remarks, he writes of a man so frail that upon escaping killers, he came upon him, like the writer came upon him, but this frail man came upon just like a dumb guy who stopped him with a pike on his stomach, and then moments later, the frail man's pursuers caught up to him and killed him. Another woman was against her will, was harshly given the demand to shout "Viva la Nation," but she didn't. Guess what they did? They killed her.
Of course, it was the worst time at the revolution. Yeah.
Yeah. The article states that a few who survived noted the silent fury with which the mob worked their destruction throughout the prison. But I mean, this mob, the primary source. A primary source is something that was of the time, that was written during the time. What was that? The primary source says that the number of active killers who took part in the September massacres was only about 150. The rest of Paris looked on in fear or approval, or stayed behind closed shutters to not be killed. I mean, these 150 figures would hold trials that were basically like mock trials, like with their hand already bloody because of their previous kill, just holding on to their weapons, and they would hold these like mock trials just to say that, oh, you're being tried and killed. I mean, mind you, there was no chance of defending yourself. You just were there to be killed in the end. And that's what this is. Because another reason for the murders were that the revolutionists simply were bandwagoning on a lust for bloodshed in a bloody revolution. I mean, this event, it was the brainchild of the Reign of Terror. A total of 1,200 prisoners were killed.
Wow,
during
a lot. During this, from the 2nd to the 7th of September.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
This accounted for 50% of prisoners in France at that time. Oh no, wow. in Paris in that time. Like yeah. So it wasn't pretty.
But one thing, attacking members of the clergy during the French Revolution, it wasn't that weird. I mean, I'm not talking only about the ones that were accused of helping the Prussian Empire, but also they just were not that happy with religion, so they it has a name actually. God damn it, because I'm trying to remember. They even show it in the game when Elise and Arno are trying to make who was this character that thought that he was really important, and they had to distribute lists of names that he wanted to target and everything. It wasn't Robespierre. It was someone else.
It wasn't Robespierre.
No, it wasn't Robespierre. It was someone else. I think, at least. I just don't remember who. That was there in a field. There was a celebration, like a party or something like that, and Arno and Elise were distributing these lists to discredit him. You know? What's it, Robespierre? Wait. I really need to look for it because...
Yeah, search that up. Is the memory done?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was perfect timing. That's good. Yeah, let me know who it was.
Oh yeah, it was Robespierre. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, it was him. I was just in my mind, I was just relating him to that time that he was interrogated by Arno and Elise, but that's after, to find Germaine. So at that time I remember that Robespierre was speaking about enlightenment and being, starting this cult of the supreme being that was supposed to be like the spirit of nature, and it was definitely not really religious in the sense of Christianity. I mean, because of that and before that, I think they killed a lot of religious people, because it's not the first time that because there's a change in the system, so going from a monarchy to a republic, that a lot of clergy is killed. Like in Spain, it happened in the Civil War. It happened also in Russia during the Bolshevik Revolution. And I'm pretty sure it has happened somewhere else as well. I mean, I cannot give more examples off the top of my head. I'm sure Luis would be much better at that, or me. So I'm pretty sure that those people that they killed in La Bastille, they were not the only ones. Those were just because, they were at La Bastille, and because they were related to they were accused of being connected to the Prussians, but definitely not the only ones.
Oh, okay. I think very, very cool information. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay. Next is the hot air balloon ride.
Yes, the hot air balloon ride. Also remember, the hot air balloon scene is hilarious, even on serious moment. I mean, yes, it is. Time to take things very, very light. I think hopefully the gore has ended, but we might go to Robespierre after the hot air balloon ride. It depends on the time that we have. But yeah. We are on the hot air balloon mission right now. Okay.
Yeah. Right now it's beginning. So go ahead.
All right. So let's start it. Okay. So the hot air balloon ride. So the guys who were responsible for the first air flight in 1783 were the brothers. The French brothers, who were named Joseph and Etienne Montgolfier. I think that's how you pronounce it. If I butchered it, let me know. Anyway, so these brothers were paper manufacturers, manufacturing was very high-tech industry at this time. So, like one day, they observed that the heated air, which was directed to a paper or a fabric bag that they put on, a heated air element, would make the bag rise. Like, think of this scene where Leonardo da Vinci throws paper into the fire and then it rises up and then he gets this idea of the flying machine. It happened exactly like that. I think maybe this was inspired from that, but I cannot confirm. But yeah, just drawing similarities between Assassin's Creed titles over here. Anyway, so they observed that heated air would do the trick. So they began building a balloon that was made of silk and lined with paper. The paper itself was 33 feet in diameter. That's 10 meters in diameter for people who care about the metric system. And at first launched with no one on it. After all, this was just an experiment. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, this event happened in Annonay on the 4th of June, 1783. The balloon rose up to 6,600 feet and stayed up for 10 minutes, traveling 2 kilometers or 1 mile of the way, which was impressive.
I'm all right.
Just for the record, 1 mile is 1.6 something kilometers, land kilometers, and 1.8 something nautical, so sea kilometers. So it's not actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just it's rough conversion. I know.
yeah. It's a rough conversion. I took it from the source of that I have. Anyway, their success spread fast in France. So much so that they were invited to do a demonstration with none other than Louis XVI. Louis XVI is always a character in French Revolution until he meets his demise. But anyway, for this fight, they had the help of Jean-Baptiste Réveillon, who was himself a successful wallpaper manufacturer. Because it was made for the monarchy to see. I mean, Jean-Baptiste went crazy with the extravagance that he put on this hot air balloon. The balloon they constructed was 30 feet. That's 9 meters in diameter, and made of taffeta. Taffeta is basically a crisp, smooth. This is according to Google. It's a crisp, smooth, plain woven fabric made from silk, copramonium rayons, acetate, and polyester. And a varnish of alum was also constructed, so the balloon would be fireproof. And since it was a show for royalty, extravagance was the name of the game. So Réveillon decorated golden flourishes that were filled with zodiac signs and suns that symbolized the monarchy of the time. Of course, Louis, it just like it was very monarchy themed. On this balloon, the king proposed that prisoners be put on it as test subjects. Of course, freaking thing like, you know, monarchy. Put prisoners on it. Anyway, they didn't say it that way. They were French. But the brothers were like, I mean, they wanted to experiment on animals. So the first beings to actually fly on the on a hard air balloon were not Arno and Elise. They were animals. And what type of animals, you say? Well, a duck, a rooster, and a sheep were put uh, on the hot air balloon. And thing like the duck and the rooster were used as control subjects uh, um because like they were animals of minimal ability to fly, so they just wanted to see if they would like get off of the hot air balloon or not. They didn't. They survived. After being lifted off, the flight took like 8 minutes and was seen by Louis, Marie Antoinette, and a crowd of around 130,000 people when it flew 2 miles. That's around 3.2 kilometers, and it landed safely. When it came around the time for a human flight, this happened on October 15th, 1783. The brothers launched a balloon. On it was Jean-Francois Pilat de Rosière. He was a chemistry and physics teacher, the first human to be airborne, actually. He stayed aloft for like almost 4 minutes, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, but it wasn't his last flight. Rosière would also fly again on the first free ascent in a hot air balloon with another Marquis, who was Marquis d'Arland, who was himself a French military officer. They flew from the center of Paris to the suburbs. This flight was about 5.5 miles, 9 kilometers in distance, and took 25 minutes, basically. And did you know that even Benjamin Franklin was there during this time? He was the one that observed it lift off in the like he writes it. He writes in his journal that we could not help feeling a certain mixture of awe and admiration. But in the end, Rosière would die just 2 years later after this flight that Benjamin Franklin was witnessing. Rosière would try to cross the English Channel with a balloon mixed with hydrogen and hot air. And what does hydrogen and hot air do? They explode. So his demise was terrible. But hey, he was the first human to be airborne.
That was very nice. That was very, very nice. Thank you. That was very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the next is the guillotine. So we fast forward to sequence 10 memory 2. That if you have time, Marge, I'm not sure how you're doing.
I have a bit of time. How do you guys feel? By the way, hi James, how are you?
Me, I'm fine. You said that we could stay until 10:30. It was for you, so that's in half an hour from now. I think we can do the guillotine and
yeah. Let's end with the guillotine,
or end with the guillotine if you prefer, and not do Robespierre.
I mean, we can also do Robespierre just to end it on like on a collective kind of like we started from like sequence 1 to like one of the last sequences. So yeah, let's just do that, and then the bridge servers. I think maybe I can cover them in in historical fast fact on like AC Landmarks Instagram thing, like write fun facts about them, and I'll credit Zark about finding those interesting facts.
Okay, good for me.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Meg is for Meg is 1 in the morning right now. Hi, poor girl. Sucks.
I think Meg, we're gonna be done in about 30 minutes. So like, pull through. Thank you for being here.
Exactly. But yeah, let's let Zarg start the memory. I think he already started it, but in the meantime, Ash, would you like to choose a question? A game for a question.
Me?
Yeah, you guessed Stilbjorn, eh?
Oh yeah. Let's go for AC for Black Flag.
Black Flag, let's go. Oh, okay. So this one is very easy. How did Edward acquire a pair of hidden blades?
Ooh. I know the answer. Can I say it?
Yeah, let's chat answer because he already got correct like 3.
Yeah, exactly. Chat, come on, you gotta know this. Gotta know this, chat. I'll
There's
give you.
So we can.
I'll give you guys a hint. I'll give you guys a hint. It's the word starts with D. The letter D.
That's not true.
Seriously?
Yeah. Can you DM me the answer? Because I'm pretty sure you're not right. Look at the question. How did okay. He killed Duncan Walpole and he took his hidden blades.
No.
Did Duncan Walpole actually have 2 hidden blades?
No, wait. I know how. Sorry. I forgot, but now I know how. Thank you, James. I appreciate it. Put multiple choice. I forgot the character's name.
Yeah, I assume that's why I said, well, yeah, it's okay. Let me see if I can.
Oh God, what was his name? He was the Spanish guy.
No, he wasn't Spanish. You mean Laureano de Torres de Ayala? That's not correct either.
Who?
Laureano de Torres de Ayala, the Templar, the Spanish Templar.
No, not him.
It's the only Spanish Templar that there is in that game, I think.
Julian Ducas.
Okay, so your answer. You ruined it again.
Sorry. James,
yes, the answer is
James,
B.
you can be the honorary member that chooses the next Assassin's Creed trivia topic.
Yeah. So yeah, that's correct. B is correct.
Yeah.
So they were given to him by Julien Ducasse. Well, Julien Ducasse. Okay, James, I can say it again. It's Laureano de Torres y Ayala.
Wow. That's cool. I still have to write a historical thread about him. Maybe during Black Flag's time. Or maybe I do it on Woods Rogers. I don't know yet.
Well, they both existed, eh? So
yeah, exactly. But I have more of an eye on Woods Rogers, to be honest. because he was effing interesting.
He was. In the end, he actually, after being sort of detained and sort of arrested in England, and even when Edward went back to, and this just talking about Assassin's Creed, when Edward went back to England, Woodes Rogers would, with time, get power again, and he continued to work with the West Indies Navy. So yeah, and in reality too, he continued to work with the West Indies Navy. But let's begin with the guillotine. So we're
I think Zark, can you please pause the screen for a second so like I can catch up to the guillotine thing. Let me see. Or don't pause it. It's fine. The guillotine is actually very, very short. Okay, so the guillotine was developed as a more humane method of execution. I think its inventor, Dr. Joseph Ignace Guillotine, proposed that the French government adopt a gentle method of execution, more quick and egalitarian than a botched axe or sword that could just ruin the neck of a person during decapitation. The device claimed its first official victim in April 1792 and became known as the guillotine quickly after that. Even its inventor was horrified by this naming. Guillotine tried to distance himself from the machine during the hysteria it would cause in the 1790s revolution, in the French Revolution, especially during the Reign of Terror, because people were just they were just constantly being killed. Later, his family petitioned the French government to change its name in early 19th century. In the mid-1790s, thousands of enemies of the French Revolution met their end by the guillotine. The process evolved to high entertainment. Place de Révolution became a meeting spot. The machine itself honored in many songs, poems, jokes. People loved the guillotine. Spectators would buy souvenirs at this place, eat at nearby restaurants. One of them was called Cabaret de la Guillotine. And I think even restaurants would do this thing of if you pay extra, you can see the guillotine execution from the balcony. Which is it's you would think it's stupid, but during these times it was a normal thing to do for these people. Fascination with the guillotine didn't wane down until the 18th century, but public beheadings continued until 1939. Novelty guillotines existed in upper class dinner tables. Do you know what their purpose was? Ada?
I'm sorry, what did you ask?
Novelty guillotines existed in upper class dinner tables. Do you know what their purpose was?
To cut baguette or cigars.
Oh no. I think they were items used to slice bread and vegetables. Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah. Very creative. Anyway, where are we on the story? Did the king die?
I think so, because he's chasing Elise right now.
Oh, okay, got it. got it.
I'm willing to risk everything to put your man
Well,
down.
okay, well,
You don't have
since you
to
saw the
tell
king
me.
die,
I need your help.
the thing
Elise!
I'm gonna talk very, very shortly about his executioners. But executioners that orchestrated multiple beheadings, precisely on the guillotine. Well, if their guillotine kills were precise and they beheaded multiple people, their fame rose quickly, and this fame grew into a multi-generational family business. Actually, the Sanson family are such examples of this. Like one of the Sansons during the French Revolution was the royal executioner, who upon operating from 1792, like this family operated from 1792 to 1847. They had King Louis the 15th. King Louis the 16th and Mary Antoinette guillotined. A thing like they they were the ones responsible for it. But just fast forward to Nazi Germany. The Third Reich would also use the guillotine. Hitler actually made the guillotine a state method of execution in the 1930s. Ordered 20 machines be placed in cities across Germany. A thing, and those 20 machines from 1933 to 1945 would kill around 16,500 people, according to Nazi records.
That's a very high number, and I'm actually surprised. Although I shouldn't be surprised, because if you think about it, well, you would think that they actually would hang people instead of using a guillotine, because that way they can hang, more than one person at a time. But I get why they didn't use bullets, because, well, they probably didn't want to run out of bullets.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially during the war. Yeah, you want to keep those bullets because then there would be a scarcity of it, and that's, then you would be screwed.
Yeah, especially Germany was very low on ammunition. So they were like, what did the French use to get rid of their anti-revolutionists? Because we're forming a revolution over here. Let's do that. People, sometimes they change and sometimes they don't. But
actually, what I've heard in the past about the guillotine, these are very interesting facts, because especially the fact that they transformed it into an event, what do we do today? Oh, there are some executions. Let's just go there and have brunch or something, or a tea or whatever.
Let's see this person die. Yeah,
exactly. And it's very it's a lot of gore. I mean, it's a head being separated from. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot. I mean, the smell. It's nasty. So, and what I heard in the past was that the guillotine was not that efficient, because apparently it would lose the sharpness quite fast after cutting heads. So sometimes they would have trouble to keep on with the beheadings that they had assigned for one day. I'm not sure this is true or not, but yeah.
Yeah, well, if it did that is very interesting. I mean, especially if a person were to suffer in a machine that was made for people not to suffer.
Exactly, that's my point. Imagine being struck by a dull blade on the neck more than once until you actually die. That's messed up.
Oh, actually, sorry, we didn't get it right. Hold up. That's it.
Well, there are always mistakes with executions. I mean, you could hear also about the problems with executions hanging people. You would think that it would be foolproof, but apparently there's whole physics around it, like the length of the rope, the height of the pedestal where they're standing, the gallows itself.
Yeah.
And everything, the height of the person, the weight of the person. So they had to do calculations to know exactly how much rope they needed. So it's a mess.
It's crazy. It's very, very sadistic and crazy. And I'm so glad we don't live in times like that. If you would ask me which time period do you want to go back to in the Assassin's Creed franchise, definitely not Unity. Definitely not the French Revolution, because the French Revolution was bonkers. They romanticize it and stuff, but it's bonkers, dude. Like, oh my god.
For me, anything that happened before there was penicillin, it's a horrible time period. I mean, come on. And penicillin wasn't actually used until after the First World War, if I'm not wrong. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the last topic that we will cover today, and the guy who was in charge of the many atrocities that we heard today about, Robespierre. But before that, did you want to?
Oh yeah, question. So
the last question, James, it's your turn.
I'm going to ask James. So I'm going to put it on the chat. He's a bit busy talking now about Henry VIII.
Oh God, yeah.
The whole thing with Anne Boleyn. Oh Jesus, that was nasty. Well, really, what happened to all his ex-wives? But yeah.
I have a cup. I've told you this, James. I have a cup of Henry VIII that I drink from, that upon heating it, his wives appear. And a thing over their pictures, it reads that if he annulled his marriage to them, or if they just left him, or if they were just killed by him.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, God.
Okay, James chose Valhalla, so the question is very easy, and you all that have played the game, of course, probably know this answer. So, it's about Valhalla.
No.
So, who was against the idea of Sigurd leaving Eivor as the leader of Ravensthorpe in Sigurd's absence? Sorry. Oh Jesus, what's wrong with my mouth?
Everyone's favorite.
Oh yeah, right. I'll repeat it though. Who was against the idea of Sigurd leaving Eivor as the leader of Ravensthorpe in Sigurd's absence? Let's let the chat answer that. Also, the last bit, do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it, or how do you want to do it?
Let me see. So Robespierre was over here. I can do it and finish it off. Unless you want to do it.
I can do it. I have no problem with that. Let's let the chat answer, but I'm going to already start with this because I'll start. Also, Folia Blue already got it correct. It's Dag, indeed.
Freaking Dag.
Yeah, horrible. Seriously, such a
It started off so amazing, ended so horrible.
Well, I wouldn't say he started amazing, but yeah, he wasn't that bad in the beginning, and you could understand some of his issues, but afterwards he was just nasty.
And yeah, but the thing that I loved in Dag was like that he questioned Eivor's authority of like leading, because like, you know, that is authentic to the times. Like you don't overstep your boundaries with like the clan leader, and Eivor was doing it, but Eivor was doing it with like the right reasons. Dag
Yeah,
was
exactly.
just
She was not
ignorant.
making any stupid choices or anything. So yeah.
Dag was just too stupid to realize that
Yeah.
what was happening.
Okay, so about Robespierre and the Reign of Terror. So Robespierre made his first mark in 1788 when he published an Adresse à la Nation artisane, which means, well, it's just an address, so to talk to the nation, to the artisan nation, in which he argued against voting by order in the upcoming assembly of the state, the States General. So the States General were divided into three parts. So first state is the clergy, the second state is the nobility, and the third state are the commons. And Robespierre served in the third state. So in 1790, he became closely identified with a left-wing political club, the Jacobins. So that we have already spoken about these ones before. They were they were named because of that, because they used to meet in an ancient Catholic monastery. So there's an actual order, a Catholic order called the Jacobins. And the Jacobins acted something like a political party or a radical pressure group within the National Assembly. And along with their confederates, sat high on the left side of the chamber. So soon, Robespierre and his allies came to be called the Montagnards or the Mountain. Well, Montagnards or the Mountaineers, I think that's the actual translation. But yeah, Mountain is also a rough translation. So in 1791, King Louis and his family tried to flee the country and then was proven to be plotting with the foreign enemies of France. And after the outbreak of war with Austria and the so-called Second Revolution in 1792, Robespierre successfully argued for the king's execution, which is what we saw a little bit earlier. In the spring of 1793, France faced a series of problems that would have broken any other power, of course, and a coalition of European armies threatened the border. So food riots in Paris, a peasant revolt in the southwest, the city of Lyon in rebellion, and the Mediterranean naval base at Toulon was surrendered to the British. So a committee of safety was formed, and by summer it was led by Robespierre. But for the first time since Louis XIV, France had a government determined to rule. So Robespierre was elected to the Committee for Public Safety in July 1793, and in that capacity functioned as the public face and mouthpiece of the Reign of Terror that we have already been speaking about. So aristocrats, uncooperative priests, monarchist politicians, unsuccessful generals, anyone too moderate or not extreme enough had their necks shaved by the guillotine. Anyone could blame anyone of not being against the royal family or could be accused of being a royalist, and almost without proof they would be detained or executed. So Robespierre's journalist friend Dumoulin wrote of this period. So the gods are thirsty was called. And by the summer of 1794, an estimated of 40,000 people had died.
Wow.
And it's a really high number. Really high number. I mean, imagine at the time, the population in Paris and France, it was definitely not what it is today. So that's a very high number.
Yeah, and I think if I may add, one of the people that died in this event was Robespierre's own colleague, Georges Danton. In which one co-op mission, Danton's Sacrifice.
That's right. By the way, the song Danton's Sacrifice is also amazing. But
in one like you see how he died and stuff like that, but um don't be too sorry for Danton, because it, he was a Jacobin himself. He used words that that inspired the September massacres to happen. Like he was the one that was spreading all this information about the clergy and stuff like that, and there's a corruption in the government. So he's no good apple. He's a bad apple that just got bitten off by an even worse type of figure.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
But continue on.
Okay. So Robespierre was elected president of the National Convention on June 4th, but his overweening power made enemies and allies very nervous. So eventually Robespierre's zeal to purge the nation of counter-revolutionaries produced a backlash. On July 27th, his enemies in the National Convention mounted a coup d'etat against the Committee for Public Safety, so the one that he was presiding. And Robespierre was arrested at 5 in the morning and guillotined without trial the following day, July 28, along with Saint-Just and 20 of their followers. Saint-Just? I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but yeah. So yeah, it's quite a lot what this man did. In the end, he got guillotined himself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably deserved. I mean, Jesus, what a piece of
God, like it just these stories, these real life stories, just happen so poetically that he who started the revolution was in the end killed himself in the revolution, during the time of the revolution. So yeah, after the craze, after the hysteria of the guillotines, France would move on. Napoleon eventually became emperor and stuff like that, as we covered. And there's the revolution, the big square that the French people gathered in to see executions, was baptized into Place de la Concorde. Yeah, Place de la Concorde, just to get rid of its dark past. So, here's to a new France, basically.
Here it is, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you for talking about Robespierre, and thank you, Zark, for doing the research on Robespierre.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Zark, because this is actually all Zark's work. I was just being the voice of Zark because his microphone is currently not working. So I was I didn't write any of this, of course.
Indeed. But yeah, thus we covered the French Revolution, the story part of it, at least from start to finish. I am so very proud of our work, you guys.
Yeah, you both did amazing. Actually, I'm really impressed that you did this in 1 week. Also working or studying, or I'm not sure what you actually do, but I'm very amazed at your work.
Of course. I think it's a thing that has to be done during AC-15 because, like, it just I've always wanted to create
That's at the foot from the
uh,
hen house.
a discovery tour of a sort
We wait.
for
It won't take long. Once Robespierre has lost the
for the
support,
AC
we'll be no
franchise
more use to Germain.
before
Don't have
Origins.
vengeance in.
Let's go.
So here is an opportunity where we get to do it.
Yeah, and we get to choose also the landmarks and the stories and everything. So that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very wonderful to do it with collaboration with you all, because, like, you guys are such amazing people who put all this together. Like, I I can't do it without you, and I'm learning so much from you at the same
Oh
time.
yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad this turned out to be quite a big collaboration. That people actually come and go, and that there's no gatekeeping in it. I love it. It's
Yeah, exactly.
because it's very community focused, and I like that. It's nice.
It's education. It's education for education's sake in in a context of historical gaming.
Yeah. Plus, in this time, and maybe not with the previous week with Syndicate, but this time we got to see some nice assassinations, and we got to play a little bit. So that's nice.
Oh, definitely, yeah. This format was actually pretty good with the in-game voice turned down, and our voice up. Like, you get to see, you get to hear both of the audios, and you get to see a story as we're telling you about the story or about the historical figure. It was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's already shut down.
Shut down what? Oh, no, it's not.
If the stream is finished, I'm not sure.
No. It's not. It's not. It's just paused.
It's on pause. Okay.
Yeah, but guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thing. How do you want to close it off, Ada? Should.
Oh, I would like to just thank both of you and the people that have been participating in the chat, coming and going or staying with us, especially those that are at unlivable hours, like, for example, Meg.
Yeah.
So
Meg,
thanks a lot for joining and staying and participating. So that was very nice.
If you want to follow our socials, I am at AC_landmarks on both Twitter and Instagram. Come over there. You'll see me posting a lot about either AC news or mainly historical landmarks, figures, events. I think Instagram is like fast facts about it. Twitter is more details. So yeah, thing. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Well, my Twitter handle is science_creed. I don't tweet that much, but sometimes I go on a on a tweeting spree. So if you want to follow, then that's great. My focus is mostly on seeing Assassin's Creed theories or events or something else through a scientific perspective on different topics. So I would be glad to have you over. I would really like that.
Yeah, and also, guys, please be sure to subscribe to Master Hekate's ceremonials.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I think, like, putting all these live streams together, Zark does such an amazing job of it, and can't thank you enough, Zark.
Yeah,
link for
and his Tumblr, I think everything is going to be in the description anyway. But his
Yeah.
Tumblr is has the same name, I think. It's also Master Hecate's Ceremonials. If anyone wants to join.
And yeah, and with that, thank you guys so much for joining. And to sign off, viva la revolution!
Vive la révolution!
Yeah. Alrighty. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.